Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Mopar brand and some news surrounding it, mainly that they've picked a new location for their Detroit mega hub. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. I had a huge video about this a few months ago on the channel, but this is a big news for Mopar because Mopar's been actually redoing their distribution centers. They've been building new ones and kind of relocating their operations to make them more efficient. Now, what they're doing for this Detroit mega hub is that they're picking up like 3 facilities and they're kind of combining them into one. And the very interesting part about that is we're seeing one from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Marysville, Michigan, and we're seeing some from Centerline, Michigan. So this is huge news. This is going to be a big facility. We're going to talk about where it's going to be located, why it's significant to the Mopar brand, and we're going to be talking about the facilities that are closing. At least 2 of them, for sure, that we know. But if you go back a few months, we broke the news on Mopar Insiders that Centerline, basically the Centerline headquarters, the Mopar World headquarters in Centerline, Michigan, was sold. They sold it. They basically, Stellantis sold it to 2 investment groups. One was based out of New York, called Ashley Capital, and the other one was based out of Hazel Park, Michigan, called CSC Capital. And what they did was they did a lease back. So basically, even though they sold it, they were leasing the property for 3 years, at least till the time that they would get this new mega hub done. However, at the time, they hadn't picked a location yet. We had heard about 2 locations that they were actually looking at. And I discussed the one. The one was actually in Washington Township, Michigan, right across from the old former Ford engine plant, Romeo engine plant. That was basically a golf course, and it's basically been abandoned for about, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years. I used to live right out there, near there, probably about, 10 years ago. So anyways, it looked like a really good spot for the brand to actually build this new mega hub, and I was kind of hoping it would be there because they also announced the sale and lease back of the Marysville Parts Distribution Center. Now, Marysville's always kind of held a special spot in my heart because mainly, I grew up right down the road from this place. A lot of my neighbors worked there. I know a lot of people that still work there to this day. And it has a huge, significant place in history for Chrysler. Basically, this plant, it was originally, before it was Mopar, it did a whole bunch of other things like Willis St. Clair. That was a Will St. Clair plant. They built cars there. Will St. Clair was a person who worked for Ford and decided to build his own car company. And then after that was done, Chrysler bought it and used it as a parts distribution center ever since. However, during some period of time, they actually built marine engines there. They were actually known for building the marine engines there. I talked a lot about it in an earlier video. And they also built every one of the production spec 426 Hemis from 1966 to 1971. So, yes, this plant has massive history. And unfortunately, they sold it, and they're going to get rid of it. So I was very bummed out about it, unfortunately. But again, life goes on. So the thing was with the Washington Township parcel that they were looking at doing, it wasn't going to be that far from the staff here at Marysville to actually go out, and basically a 45-minute drive. However, now that they picked Buren Township, it's going to be about an hour and 15-minute drive for these people, depending on traffic and weather. So while they're not losing their jobs, they got a long drive ahead of them now. So it's kind of, one of those things. Do you stay with the company or do you go? But until then, we found out that Marysville and Centerline will basically kind of get, Marysville especially. Marysville will be actually absorbed into the Warren facility and the Warren Sherwood facility for the time being. Those members will end up working there until the mega hub is done. Now, we don't know when that transition will be. Stellantis just said that's what they're going to do. We know that the mega hub is going to be probably completed around 2027, so it's going to be another year and a half at least till this place is done. But yeah, it's big news for around the Metro Detroit area. Now, the very interesting thing is, again, you can go back to my video and watch it, but what we found out was where this new location is. So this new Mopar location is right across the road from the Willow Run Airport. And if you know anything about history, Willow Run, especially here in Michigan, has massive history. Not only is it the home right now to Coletta Air, which is a global parcel company that does air freight. But it also is home of the Yankee Air Museum. But what it's known for is because back in World War II, Ford actually owned and operated it, and they built more B-24 Liberator bombers than anywhere else in the United States for the Air Force. So Willow Run has a huge history. So this is the north side of Willow Run, and there's two pieces of parcel of property that's for sale. There's one right here. You can kind of see it says Commerce. It says Commerce at Willow Run. This part is for lease. I actually looked this place up. It's for lease, and this looks like the property that they bought just to the west of it. This is basically, it's 75 acres of property. This picture, this is Google Street View, of course, and this image was taken back in August of 2024. I'll show you an aerial view of it. And basically, if you look here on the map, I'll show you just east of it and a little bit south, just south of the Detroit Metro Airport, there is the Romulus Mopar Distribution Center. That is staying. So if we move up just a few miles over, here's Willow Run. And then if you look at the north part of the property, here is where the new facility is going. Now, again, I checked the parcel planners. I checked, what was going on for sale and if it was sold, but nothing's been official just yet. I mean, they probably haven't put it into, the computer just yet, but it looks like this property right next to this GM Service Parts Operations facility is going to be it's going to be at Denton Road and Ecorse Road. So what's this new plan about? Again, this is a drawing. This is a design proposal for the facility. This is like the front entrance. It's going to be a massive plant. And what we know is recently in Brampton, they actually kind of outfitted their facility. They basically redid their distribution center in Brampton, Ontario, with a new, what they call AutoStore. And in East Fishkill, New York, they also just got done building a brand new parts distribution center there. Now, this parts distribution center in New York isn't a mega hub like this one will be, but it's a pretty good size facility, but it also utilizes the AutoStore. So what is the AutoStore? Well, the AutoStore is basically this massive, massive box that sits inside the facility. And it has these little dolly, like computerized dolly things that go and pick parcels up through different bins and stuff. So basically it can restock itself. I mean, obviously it has people doing it, but it's a fully automated storage and retrieval system. So they use these small little robots, which you can see here. They're all numbered, and they will actually go along these tracks and pick up different parts. So it's supposed to make it more efficient and faster for them to distribute parts across the regions. And then you can kind of see down here, this is how it actually looks. So you can see it's a massive thing that sits inside the plant. This is actually the design from Brampton, and you can see the little robots up on top, and then they basically go up across the top, and then they come down into these bins where they can grab the stuff. So again, it's all about efficiency. That's what they're trying to do. And again, Milwaukee, Marysville, and Centerline are the ones that are going to be affected by this. So it's huge news. It's coming out, again, sometime in 2027. It'll be done for operations be open for operations. So they still have a while to go, but yeah, it's, again, when you talk about the Marysville plant and Centerline especially, the history at those facilities is huge for Mopar, and not just Mopar, but kind of like everything with history. Like I said, the Hemi in Marysville, Marine Engines in Marysville, the world headquarters for Mopar in Centerline. So again, it means a lot to us that are diehard Mopar fans to see this kind of era come to an end. And now we're seeing a new era come up with more efficient, bigger facilities to crank out more parts across the United States. So with that being said, leave your comments below what you think. I mean, this is Mopar's going all out on building these new distribution centers. We were supposed to see a mega hub, by the way, in Belvedere. Belvedere was supposed to have a mega hub. However, that has been canceled according to news reports. So I've talked to some people out at Belvedere, and they said, yes, there's no plans going forward. So it'll be interesting to see, what else they kind of do going forward, because a lot of this stuff was planted in the 2023 UAW agreement, and now some of it's being changed. So again, there's going to be 488 new jobs at this new facility in Van Buren Township, just north of Willow Run. So again, a lot of these people are keeping their jobs, but they have to make huge decisions on moving to this new facility. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next video.